Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we're continuing with the Hakdam of the Sefer Zohar HaKadosh, and we're going to go weiter. We're going to go weiter for the sake of Klal Yisrael, to be protected by the words of Rashbi, to be protected by the Or of Rashbi, by the Tzadikim Hamitim, Kedai Lismoch. Bereshis, the word Bereshis. Rabbi Yudi Omar, my Bereshis. Rabbi Yudi answers and he says, what's Bereshis? B'chochma. The nature of a beginning is the nature of wisdom. It's the nature of an immediate spark of insight that contains all possible expression within itself, although it's not differentiated yet into specificity. So it's a thunderbolt of insight, chachma, but it's not broken down into particular bite-sized manageable ideas. The beginning always happens quickly. Da chachma da alma kaima Allah la'ayla geirazin stimen iloyin. This is the secret of Chachma upon which the entire world is situated. And this Chachma that the world is situated upon, which is the secret of Bereshis, is the gateway that a person needs in order to for a person to gain access and to gain an entry point into the world of supernal secrets. Now, what this means, Bekitzer, is that, as we understand, our entire world, which is associated with Ma, as we've spoken about, which is built upon that which is revealed, that revealed world emerges from something that is concealed above it. The concealment above it is Chachma and Bina. Now, although Bina, as we've spoken about, is really the mother that gives birth to the children, meaning it's the source of concealment that gives birth to revelation, nevertheless, Bina is always Mukusher to Chachma. Chacham bebina the Havein b'chachma, meaning the two of them are deeply interconnected, and they're referred to in the Zohar HaKadosh as train rein delimas parshan. Abba ve'ima chachma and bina, ki avi ve'imi azavuni, the notion of wisdom and insight and understanding, those two come hand in hand. So while typically we say that the world is sustained by bina, nevertheless, here we see that the world is in truth sustained by chachma, because chachma, which is the original point of thought that contains all possibility within it prior to definition, is engarbed and hidden within the world of Bina, which is the beginning of definition. So Chachma begins to be the source of all things, and the purpose of Chachma is only to help a person to be the entry point at which a person can enter into the world of hidden secrets, which is the secret of Keser. What that means is as follows, that when we come to understand the hidden origin of all things, it's never there for us to feel, oh, we've arrived at the hidden origin of all things. We've arrived at the apex of wisdom of how things operate. But rather the Chachma, which is the highest point that we could conceive of, is simply a gateway for us to enter into something referred to as Razin, Stimen, Iloyin, what the Meforshei HaZohar referred to as the Or of Atik or the Or of Arich, which both of them are going to be identified with the world of Keser, because even the highest level of understanding is simply there to lead us as an entryway into the chamber of secrets, where we realize that nothing is known and nothing can be known. And ultimately, the deepest knowledge of all things is the fact that it's unknowable. The unknowability of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence in this world, as it's related to Keser, as it's related to how things begin, how things operate in the middle, and how things end, it's not due to an ignorance that says I'm not smart enough to understand, but rather the very nature of the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Megala himself is by way of unknowability. As the tzaddikim would say, when they sat down to learn something in Kabbalah, they would sit and learn until they were absolutely certain that they did not understand what they were trying to understand, and then they would say that they did the limud properly, because very often the tachlis hayediyah is shaloi neda. A person has to come to a place of knowing that they don't know. That's not foregoing on the possibility of knowing, but rather it's acknowledging that knowing is simply a tool and a handmaiden to emuna, that chachma, I want to have chachma, I want to understand, but I have to come to the place of understanding that my attempt to understand, my all too human need to understand, is ultimately just there to help me enter into the chamber of hidden secrets of the Stimen Ilain. They're still referred to as secrets even when they're revealed, because they're so powerful that they can't fully be revealed into language, because they highlight the unknowability of all things. Behacha aglifu shis citrin ravrivin iloyin deminhoin nafik Kuloi de minhoin is avidu shis mekoirin v'nachlin la'alla goy yamaraba. And over here, so we know that the revealed world, we said, is built upon six. We said it's referred to as Eila, the 6 times 6, which is 36. And the concealed world, which is Bina, is me, which is me, Bara Eila, which is the secret of me and Eila together, the concealed world and the revealed world together, the two ways of looking, which gives birth to the Shem Elohim. So here we see that the beginning of all things is Chachma. Chachma is that point of origin wherein Bereshis comes into actualization. Chachma is the secret of a remez. It's something emerging but not yet revealed. It's dai l'chakima biramiza. A chacham, it's enough for a chacham to have a hint because within the illusion itself is contained the real thing. So chachma is just the beginningness of this, and chachma then gives birth to the revealed world, which are built upon those 6 pillars of chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, hod, yesod, of right, left, up, down, and right, left, up, down, inside, outside, or the kosher and the puzzle, the mutter and the usser, and the tameh and the tahar, those 6 sides which comprise and represent the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah and the elements of our experience in this revealed world, they're all rooted in Chachma, which means to say that this Chachma has engraved within it. And in the Zohar HaKadosh, what's amazing is that very often the metaphors for creation of the world is an act of writing, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is engraving, because the world is a Torah. Tzadok HaKohen Meilablin says he heard in his youth that the world is a book and the Torah is a commentary on that book, meaning the world is written. Ananafshi Ksav Yahavis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu writes existence into reality. So too we write ourselves into reality. And this writing, this engraving, this Chachma, Vahacha Aglifu Shis Sitrin Ravrivin, this glyph, this engraving of the 6 sides that represent themselves as the large pillars of existence are already contained in the potential form within the Chachma, which is the beginning. The Minhoin Nafik Kulo, that from within that place, within that concealment of the future revelation of reality that is existent within the womb of concealment, it's the origination point where everything is going to emerge. Kula de minhoin is avidu shis mekoirin. At that place, there's going to be the birthplace of the 6 levels of source, which is basically the 6 levels of revealed reality, as we described before. V'nachlin la'ela goyamaraba, to enable these 6 elements of this revealed world to then make a union, to find dveikus, or to find connectivity with the Yama Rabba. So right here we have 3 levels. We have Chachma, which contains Bina within it, which is going to be the source of all things. Then we have the 6 sides, which comprises the revealed world. And then the revealed world has to attach itself to Malchus. Everything we're ever talking about is the Shisha Tzadim, the Vak, the Chesed, Gvur, Tferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, the 6 experiential emotions that we find ourselves in, the chamber of changes. We have to bring all of that and connect it to Malchus, which is the Yamarabba, at which point we're going to have a zivug of Kutshabricha V'Shchinte. The tachlis of everything is to bring these 6 zramim, these 6 nechalim, kol nechalim holchim el hayam, v'hayam inenu maleh. The Yam Shel Shlomo, the Yam HaChachma, is the secret of Malchus. It's the water. It simply is. It abides in its thingness without any orientation, good, bad, or anything. It is devoid of any content other than its own content. And in order to illuminate Malchus, which is the Shechina HaKadosha, which is this worldliness and all of its fallenness, what we need to do is we need to draw down the vitality of the Sisha Stadim, of the Vak, that are born out of Chachma and Bina. So here we have a full unity of the Eser Sfiros. Chachma is the beginning, and Chachma is really just a hint towards that which exists above it, which is Keser. So you have Keser and Chachma. Contained within Chachma is the potentiality of Bina, which is really the womb of creation. Emergent out of Bina, which is the womb of creation, the womb of concealment, is the 6 sides of existence, which are the Sisa, the Shisha Sidarim, and then those Shisha Sidarim, which are Chesed, Gvur, Tferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, the tachlis is for them to be Makusha to Malchus, which is how we draw our emotional experience into our physical experience as well. And this is what the word Bereshis means when it says Barashis, that the word Bereshis can be broken down into a compound word, which means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created 6. Mehacha is Beriu. This is where creation came from. This 6ness of creation, the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, of the changes of reality, are emergent from the Nakuda of Bereshis, which is Chachma. Man Baralon. Man baralan, who gives birth, who allows for this creation to take place. Hahu deloy idchar, hahu sasim deloy yedia. Like we said before, the source of all of this is not Keser, it's not Chochmah, it's not Bina, it's not Chesed, Gvur, Tfer, Netzach, Yisoid, Malchus. All of those things are details. All of those things, as holy as they are already identifiable, measurable. But in truth, the origin of all things, all creativity, all newness, all hischadshis, all redemption, all geula emerges from the place Hahu deloy idchar, from that place that is not referred to, Hahu sasim deloy yadi, that place of concealment that is not known, like we spoke about before, the tachlis hayadiyah shalei noida, that any level of knowledge, any level of knowing is ultimately coming to bring us back to a place of the ultimate comprehension that we don't know anything whatsoever. This tachlis of tachlis hayadiyah shalei neda is ultimately the tachlis of Shabbos Bereshis, that after we've gone through an entire year of Bereshis till Zoi Sabracha, coming to terms with the fact that we've known everything and that we have everything under control and that we've been able to go from a Rosh Hashanah to a Shmini Atzeres, the person ends a year, generally speaking, with a summary of what they think reality is all about. But then ultimately Bereshis comes again and it shatters our comprehension of what is what, and it reveals to us that we're just standing at the precipice of the beginning once again, and that everything is being recreated at every moment, and anything that appears to be old or dead or fallen is ultimately just part and parcel of the ever-changing colors of the perpetual upkeep and the renewal of existence, which is a perpetual voice of Bereshis. Bereshis naimi mamarhu. Bereshis is a mimer, as Rabbi Nachman says in Torah Yud Beis, in Torah Ayeh, that the ultimate secret of Bereshis, which is a mimer sasam, it's the concealed utterance that sustains all of existence, and it's not identifiable as the source of anything particular, that gives the ability for a person to find the light of godliness wherever they find themselves. Every other utterance that sustains a particular area of existence, there could be an utterance of Torah, of Tefillah, of Emunah, of Bitachon. Okay, so as long as I'm in Torah, Tefillah, Emunah, Bitachon, I could find myself in that utterance. But then Rabbi Nachman asks the question, what happens when a person falls away from all of those utterances and they find themselves in the palaces of impurity? They find themselves in a place of concealment where the heart can't move, where the head can't move, where the body can't move anymore, and they find themselves fallen away and thrown away from all levels of vitality. Ultimately, in that place, we uncover the secret of the Maimer Sasam, of the concealed utterance of Bereshis, which gives vitality to all things, even those Makomos and Mitunafos, those places that appear to be devoid of godliness. This is the secret of Aye Mekom Kavoidai, by screaming out Aye Mekom Kavoidai, specifically by feeling the absence of the Rabbeinu Shalom Kavyachol, by being aware of the fact that I don't know where you are right now, in the very act of crying out for his hiddenness to be revealed. So at that point, we're tapping into a high level of the Rabbeinu Shalom's revelation, because we're aware that you're here also. We're screaming out to you from the pits of where we feel that you're absent. If we really felt you were absent, we wouldn't be screaming out to you. Memela, if I'm screaming out to you from that place, I'm being Megala my das, I'm revealing my preconceived notion and my deeply held unconscious belief that the Rabbeinu Shalom is found no matter where I feel that I am or where he is or what anything is. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. And that's the secret of the Ayil of Yitzchak, the Ayil that was the Tayish, that was the replacement for Yitzchak, because Aye Hasel Oila, in a moment of an Akeda, in a moment of a reasonable, an unreasonable task, an unreasonable encounter with death or destruction or negation, the only thing that Yitzchak Avinu was able to cry out is Aye Hasel Oila. Where is the Sel Oila? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, and Avram says HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send us that seh. But what Rabbi Nachman says is that in that moment where Yitzchak Avinu understood what was happening, the only thing he could do was to scream out Aye, and it's specifically there that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals the sheep that is going to be the stand-in for Yitzchak Avinu, which is why the Tikkun Zohar also says that Bereshis is bara tayish. It's not only barashis, it's not only the creation of the six sides of reality and their concealment, but rather it's also the creation of the tayish, of that sheep, that lamb that stood to replace Yitzchak Avinu in the secret of crying out to the Rebbeinu Shalom wherever we find ourselves. And Be'ezras Hashem will continue on Motzei Shabbos with going into the next shlav of the Zohar Kadosh, which is the story of Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yossi, who are walking along their path in the beautiful night sky of northern Eretz Yisrael, pondering the secrets of existence and trying to draw revelation into a world that appears to be saturated with concealment. Be'ezras Hashem.